gonna
Hey, don't call it a comeback. No, we're not doing the LL thing. We're doing the EPMD thing. This is the Mafia Minute, and we're breaking down the Buffalo Bills victory over the Vegas Raiders. It's business as usual, baby. I'm your host, Jamie G, Esquire the Fifth, and I'm here with the Soupdeucer. It's time to talk about the game. Soup, what's going on, buddy?
Dude, all I can say is, man, it was rough for me because it was one of those games where I was like, I wasn't able to comfortably watch it in at my own, in my own office or in my own home. So I had to watch it on the fly, like at the job and shit, which I was a little bit upset about. And going into it, I was like, man, didn't work out well for me last week. And the first like minute or so of the game, I was like, I gotta stop watching these games at the job, and but it turned around really quickly. And fortunately, I was able to watch most of the game, even though I was kind of like, preoccupied doing some other things. But it worked out well. And by the time the end of the game wrapped up, I was already, drinking a beer and watching the fourth quarter in comfort, man. And I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, 38-10 victory always feels good. Let's get into it, man. It's strictly business here on the Mafia Minute. Let's go through some of the topics, right? I mean, we had a heartbreaking, disappointing loss in week one, and the Bills needed to do a couple things to bounce back. They needed to protect the football and limit turnovers. They needed to see a bounce back game from the offense, right? We needed to actually look like the offense we all know that we have. And we needed to stop the run with Josh Jacobs coming into town. Everyone talked about, Breece Hall ran all over us last week. I don't want to say that the Bills are like FedEx or Amazon, but they're like FredEx. Shout out Freddie Jackson because they delivered and it was business, never personal. Talk about protect the football. 0 turnovers. Josh Allen was very smart with the football. We didn't have any fumbles. We didn't have any interceptions. He took what the defense gave him. No turnovers equals 21, now 22 and 4 with Josh Allen at quarterback. So if they don't turn the ball over, they're likely to win. Speaking of Josh Allen, really good day for him. I thought he played smart, but more importantly, he didn't get bored. He took what the defensive gave him. I thought the play calling supported this style of offense, and it was really balanced. We had 37 pass attempts, 35 rush attempts. That's really awesome. We haven't seen a game like that out of Buffalo in a long time. If they can do that consistently, they're going to be really tough to stop. We saw a nice run game here. James Cook, right? We talked about that. He had his first 100-yard game of his career. Looks the part. The guy has the ability to fall forward for 4 yards. Man, he took some really nice angles and kind of got outside a couple times. He can excel. He has great vision. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Cook, but I like this triple-headed monster. We saw Harris contribute both in the return game on a punt return, but then also in the run game. He got into the action, scored a touchdown, made some plays, and then we saw Latavius Murray. Shout out Murray, playing for his hometown team, playing his former team in the Raiders, got himself a touchdown. I like the way he runs the football. All three of these running backs do something different, and all three of them can be effective in this offense. And I'm really, people were really hard on Ken Dorsey. Dude, let's give him his flowers. He called a really good game here today. Was it perfect? No, but I really liked what he did. And again, you can't say enough about Josh Allen. Laser focused here, started the game 13-13. I think that's the best start of his career.
Yeah, really good, dude. And it's another thing I really like here. I like that triple-headed monster there at the running back. Since the season started, I was kind of big on Latavius being in there. He's just got that certain something, and he really shined a little bit today. One thing we didn't mention yet is the tight end packages that we got there with both tight ends, and I think that Dalton Kincaid had a hell of a game. So he brought in I think something like 5 or 6 receptions, maybe give or take. And he didn't find the end zone, but he had a hell of a game, dude. And Knox had the 1 touchdown, but he also had 1 blatant drop that kind of sucked. But that's whatever. Both of them as a collaborative effort.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and that worked last week against the Jets is when they went into the 12 personnel, the two tight end set. Thought they were able to move the football a little bit. Both those tight ends do things different, and they're both really hard to guard. We basically have two weapons that linebackers and corners are going to have a tough time matching up against there. So really like that personnel. I thought that was good. And shout out the Gabe Davis emergence. Josh Jacobs had a really, really, really bad day. I mean, I think we were late in the fourth, and in the fourth quarter, he still had negative yardage all week. The Bills had to hear about you can't stop the run. Bryce Hall ran all over on you. We knew that it was really two big chunk plays that Bryce Hall got his yardage on, but we didn't stop the run the way we wanted to. Today, the Buffalo Bills defensive line dominated the line of scrimmage, whether it was in pass rush or whether it was in stopping the run, with an extra focus on stopping the run. And they played really, really, really well. So shout out to the D line, stepping up, setting the edge, stopping the run. Josh Jacobs had a terrible day. Hopefully you didn't play him in fantasy, because if you did, you didn't get much out of him. With that said, Soupdeucer, do you have a Mafia moment from the week 2 victory over the Vegas Raiders? What was your favorite moment?
A lot of good moments today, man, but I think a major turning point where it was absolutely critical was Matt Milano's interception. I think that came at a perfect time, and he's now back-to-back weeks with a pick. He's just proving himself to be one of the best linebackers in the league. Not that he really needs to; he kind of already has established himself like that. For some reason, he still kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but either way, that was what I think was a critical moment in the game. Not a touchdown play or anything like that, but definitely something that I think was very, very important. And it was a sick pick, dude. I mean, he basically ripped it away from dude. That was my Mafia moment.
It's a great one, man. I'm going to give honorable mention to a play in the red zone where Josh was flushed. He thought about running it, stopped, had people diving at his legs, and just threw a bullet to Khalil Shakir, and Shakir got in the end zone. That was a great play. But I'm going to go on the fourth down in the red zone. They really needed to convert and get the 6 points, and they did. 4th and 1 in their own end, in the red zone there, and they convert on 4th down. And at this point, they had the option of going up by 17, but they took that touchdown. They went up by 21 points. They had a comfortable 3-touchdown lead because of that. I thought that was a big time swing, and I love Coach McDermott. He called the timeout, right? He sent out his field goal unit, and then they said, nah, call the timeout. You're burning a timeout here in the second half. You needed to make sure you delivered. Puts his offense back on there, and they deliver and get the touchdown. That was my Mafia moment. I thought that was a big part.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I love that moment as well, man. Because I remember I was still at the job, and I had walked out front to grab the beverage. Seriously, I went out to grab some water or whatever. My buddy who was in the back, he's like, "Yeah, Josh just talked him into going out there and going for it." And I was like, "Hell yeah, he did. They got it, man."
Yep. Well, before we flush everything and move on to next week, we got to savor the victory just a bit here and add another article of clothing to our Mafia mannequin. He's currently rocking a Bills bucket hat, some sick shades, a Josh Allen sock, and some really nice chicken wing boxer briefs. So, Soupdeucer, what are we adding? Let us know this week. How do we add something here to celebrate this victory?
You know what, man, and there's a lot we could add here. And my one thought was, man, you know what? Apparently, some of the guys are wearing the sports bras now, so could go with that and call it the. I would want to call it the bro or the man's ear, maybe.
It'll be me, you, and the bro. Let's do it! Except we gotta do something about the name.
Why? What's wrong with bro?
No, bro's no good. Too ethnic.
All right, you got something better?
How about, the man's ear?
I like the glove. Why not throw a glove on the guy?
I'm good with the glove. I agree with the glove. I think that's great.
You like a glove? All right, let's do a glove, dude. Is that my left or your right, or your left or my right?
Give him a glove on his left hand here, and we'll leave the right for.
All
We'll leave the right to come. That's it. Week 2 is over in the book. Celebrate the win, Bills Mafia, but let's get ready for week 3. That's our unfinished business. And here's what we need to be focused on when we travel to play the Washington Commanders, who, by the way, are 2-0. And I just want to let everybody know your boy Jamie G. Esquire V will be there in person, attending the game, hopefully watching our Buffalo Bills beat the Commanders in their own house. I'll get some footage. And I'll be there chilling on the Bills, cheering on the Bills. There'll be a bunch of Bills Mafia in the house. Can't wait for it. Number one thing we need to do is Washington has a really aggressive defensive line. You saw Allen and Payne really get after it today against Russell Wilson. They also brought back Chase Young. They've got a couple, 3, 4, really good defensive tackles, defensive ends. We've got to protect Josh Allen. We see what happens when he's getting hit left and right and he feels like he's got to force and rush. O-line needs to have as good of a day as they've had facing a really aggressive and good defensive line. That's number one. Number two, same story as week 2. We've got to limit the turnovers. We don't turn the ball over, our chances of winning increase. Our defense has shown that they're opportunistic. They're going to get some looks and maybe create some turnovers. Let's win that turnover battle. Number 3, our D-line. They need to continue to pressure and create turnovers. If one thing that I've seen watching the Commanders the first 2 weeks, Sam Howell's taken some hits. He will make a mistake here and there. We got to get the pressure on him. I'm looking forward to seeing Ed Oliver have a big day, Daquan Jones have a big day. Let's get some heat off the edge. Now, a couple things to watch. Leonard Floyd left the game with an ankle injury. We got to see where he is. And Micah Hyde left the game with a hamstring injury. So we got to see where those 2 players are. Leonard Floyd was off to a fast start. Let's hope we have him. But either way, we got to get some pressure. We got to create some turnovers. And then last, we got to continue to spread the ball around and be balanced on offense. Soup, you mentioned it, the 12 personnel. When Josh can go to Diggs and then all of a sudden they try to double, triple Diggs, you see Gabe Davis emerge. You got the 2 tight ends. We actually are starting to run some screens, hitting the running backs. I really like the weapons on offense. Spread it around, right? Spread the love.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And we've been pretty good on injuries, like going into the first 2 weeks. I don't think we've had anything on the injury report going in, but yeah, I'm a little concerned with especially Floyd and Hyde going into next week. Let's hope they're both okay and ready to go.
As far as the episode of Mafia Minute goes, we're almost out of business, but to prove that we mean business, we got to make our score predictions. Here is the tale of the tape. The Buffalo Bills will be traveling to Washington, D.C., really Maryland, to take on the Washington Commanders Sunday, September 24th, 1 p.m. It'll be on CBS. And as we record this, the Bills are currently favored by 6.5 points with a game total of 44.5 points. We're a little far out now, being that we're recording this on Sunday, a week before the game. But it does look like there could be some rain in the forecast. Of course there will be, because Jamie G. Esquire V will be there in person. So it's got to rain on my parade, right? Typical. I'll bring my poncho. It's still fresh off summer tour, so I'll be able to rock that out. I'm up first here, Soup. I'm going to take the Bills in an uglier game than we want, but still a victory. I'm going to take the Bills 28-22, winning on the road.
That is closer than I predicted, man. Although I did agree with the 28, I decided on 28-10. I don't think our defense is going to let him get that many points. I'm sticking right there with the 28-10.
Well, I think that's it. We've covered the Bills and we're out of EPMD album names. We know that you'll be rooting your hearts out for the Buffalo Bills this week. We will be as well. Of course, Bills Mafia, the best fan base on the planet. We expect nothing more. Just don't forget to let us know that you're a fan of the Mafia Minute by simply liking this video, leaving a comment, or most importantly, following us, subscribing to our channel. We greatly appreciate it. We want to be with you all season long, taking on the Bills and celebrating the Bills Mafia for what it is, the greatest fan base in all of sports. We're here every week and we want to make you shout with the Buffalo Bills, baby. Hey! Go Bills!